And we're back.
Oh, man. There's been so many great times to push this intro button.
Proud of you.
I was literally just going to say that, Floaty. Get out of my head.
It's nice in here. All right.
Get out of my head and into my car.
All right, let's do this, motherfucker.
Damn, that's how we're bringing it?
What?
What?
I'm pretty sure he just said hit the intro button, J-Dubs.
Oh, shit.
Morning! Another glorious morning. Makes me sick.
Good morning, my neighbor!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to
The Ready Set Radio Show.
Good morning, apartment. Good morning, doorway.
Good morning and welcome to a brand new episode of the Ready Set Radio Kick-Ass Podcast. My name is Floaty. Over there is the beer.
The beer.
Over there in the booth with the attention span of a goldfish and the decision-making skills of a magic 8-ball, J-Dubs is running the show today. And in the hot seat, our special guest, the amazing, illustrious QPC.
What up, dude?
Wow.
How are you?
Tremendous intro there, broski.
I've been working on it, man.
Very good, very good.
I still want to get into wrestling.
Well, you should do it, man.
How's that microphone looking in his face right here? Because I can't see him.
What do you need me to do?
Right there.
Right there,
I
better.
can see your eyes now.
Okay.
That's perfect.
All right, cool.
Right through your sunglasses.
Right through the sunglasses. Well, first of all, I want to say thanks for having me on the podcast there, broski. And
we are-
love the fucking setup.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Very
you.
cool.
Chill.
Very impressed here.
We added some new stuff today. Maybe you'll get to see him or hear him or look at him before you leave.
Cool.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We'll see.
I want to catch up real quick, man, because we haven't hung out in a long time.
It's been some years,
We've
dude.
talked sporadically throughout the last, say, decade.
Right.
But haven't hung out in forever. How the hell are you?
Doing great. Fucking, you should have seen me last week. I was in rough shape, but this week I'm doing great.
This week's okay.
Yeah, no, it's great to see you, broski. I was thinking about it earlier and thinking about, when I was going to come on the podcast and how, whether you know this or not, you perhaps are one of my first friends in the local music scene.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I know we go way back.
We go way back, broski.
I have on here in my questions once we got to our musical career, but since we're on the topic already, what was do you remember our first time meeting at a show? Because I go back to things like Rhiannon's, I go back to things like The Click.
Yes.
But I don't really remember the first time we met.
I couldn't tell you either.
But I know we did a bunch of shows together for a short little span of time.
Yes, because you guys were always super fucking nice to us, So I was in a band called Demolition, and we were a three-piece. I sang and played guitar, and we were completely obnoxious assholes. Like, our whole thing, it was almost like we hated all the new metal shit.
Yeah.
It was almost like, think of like...
Except when I did it.
Well, I mean, because then once my friends are doing stuff, then things change. But so right off tops, we looked at the local music scene as kind of like Metallica versus hair metal. And so we were like, we hate all the fucking new metal shit. None of these guys can play guitar. I was always guitar.
Yeah.
And
You're a gatekeeper of keeps, of sorts, I should say.
right. But so you guys fucking were the first people that were like, we love you guys. Come do shows with us. You gave us opportunities. I got a hilarious story about Rhiannon's.
Everybody does.
Well, first of all, there was the worst fucking strip club next to this place,
Yeah.
Rhiannon's.
They were owned by the same people.
Right, and we would go there. I was young at the time and very inexperienced in strip club etiquette, right? And so I remember going over there and just being like lost. Like, this is what a strip club is? These chicks are so fucking ugly. Like, I mean, it really skewed my view of strip clubs in general early in life. Later on, I found out that they're all not like that. But,
He didn't go to another strip club for 23 years thinking that they were all like that.
Not true. But do you remember this story, Floaty, where fucking we're playing at Rhiannon's? I believe this is the last time we played there because we only played there maybe 2 or 3 times. And those are some of the first shows that I ever played, performing in front of people.
Yeah, same.
And I remember one night we were packing our shit up, and it started fucking raining. And I remember you guys had like this little flatbed trailer or some shit.
Something, yeah.
And you guys were covering it up with a tarp. And all of a sudden, because there was like a...
we had that big-ass drum set then, too.
Right. All of a sudden, we're standing there packing our shit up, and it starts raining, and we're pretty much done. And these dudes go running by us over into an alley right next to the fucking bar. You remember this?
I don't think I do.
And fucking, we turn to look, what are they running from? And it's a dude with like a goddamn samurai sword chasing them. And they all just ran back there into this fucking alley.
I don't remember the other dudes running, but I remember a dude wielding a sword.
Yup. And in my mind, I look at Floaty. Floaty looks at me, and we're like, all right. Have a good night. Like later. we just witnessed somebody perhaps get murdered
back to our regularly scheduled program.
Sword.
I made a lot of mistakes as a musician in those early shows because that place was just happy to have any entertainment.
Right.
And one of the first shows we did there, they still had the wrestling ring set up from the night before. So we performed inside the wrestling ring, inside that little bar. So in the ring, the ceiling's right here.
Oh man!
What kind of? Do you remember the wrestling federation?
I don't remember which company
it
it was, but the whole thing moves. Like it's not
Right.
like yeah. So we got a drummer who's drumming, and my band, and I've always been one of those bands that I would throw down and spin around and headbang and run
Of
around.
course.
And every time I would do that, the hi-hats would fall over, and I got to stop playing guitar, pick the hi-hats up for the drummer. But we had shows. Like there was very few places that were doing shows. There was Tavern. And then there were places that didn't know any better because a lot of places are like, well, where else have you played? And how many people came to the show? And how much money did you make the last place? This was back then.
Right.
But thankfully, you started getting, you know, some of these venues to start letting these other shows just happen because we started making names for ourselves and just that there's a music scene by all of us getting together and finding random places to play. And one of those happened to be a shithole bar next to a shithole strip club.
In fucking High Point,
And-
rundown ass High Point.
And I call them shitholes because they were, but I loved both of them because it was like the first opportunity to like book our own shows and find our own places and like
Right.
we can do this if we all work together kind of things. And
Right.
we were all wrong, but we gave it a shot.
Just think of all the places we've seen come and go over the years.
Dude,
like, bro.
so many.
remember
Bad,
them all.
man.
I couldn't remember them all if I tried.
No.
It's been way too many.
I remember. Do you remember this place in? I believe it was in Winston. It was called Big Cans. I only went there, I think, once.
No.
Yeah, dude, I
remember
do.
Big Cans?
It was
Is it still there?
no, it's
No,
not.
hell
It was
no.
like it had a boxing ring in the middle of it too, didn't it?
I don't remember
Damn,
that
this
one. I
place
was
sounds
there.
awesome.
Man, if it's the
Love it.
place I was thinking of, like that was. I remember that. That was before. That was before I was even in ALD, dude. That was before I even knew you.
It was definitely
Had to
before
be.
I had ever met you.
Yeah. So like, yeah, that's old going way back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember it was in a strip mall, wasn't it?
It was. Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
And I could have sworn it had a boxing ring right in the middle of it, and the stage was in the back off one corner, and
I don't remember a boxing ring, but I could be wrong. It's been a
that might have been
long-ass
another.
time ago.
Yeah, it might have been a different spot. I don't know, but I do remember a place called Big Cans.
Yep. But the click was always very detrimental in our
The-
early musical careers.
The
right,
click
Floyd?
mark the only show that my parents both came to ever that wasn't involved with the church or a school was at the Click, and it was a memorial show that we did with you guys. You were there, and Timid was there, and they came because it was a good cause.
What was the cause? I forgot.
It was that Timid fan, I think it was Joe Pennington, had died.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and they'd written a song about him and whatnot, and they asked us to play that memorial show. I think it was at the Click, and yeah, that was the only time both my mom and my dad were at the same time seeing me perform, and like it was very clear after they saw me perform there that I don't make the kind of music or put on the kind of show that they want to be around.
Right.
So they supported me from a distance by like telling me, hey, you should have a backup plan, and they were right.
Did you
It's
listen?
podcasting.
Did I listen? I'm sitting here talking to you three dudes. No, I didn't listen. I'm just kidding. That could have gone either way.
But Gray was a super cool guy, right?
Yep.
The guy that owned the Click. And he wound up getting into some trouble later in life, huh? Did
Breaking
you not
news.
know that?
No, what happened? Can we talk about what happened? And is it legal?
He went to prison for like 7 fucking years.
Wait, what did he do? Wait, what did he do? When did I miss this?
That's why the click closed. Why?
So it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
I probably just forgot then. So remind me what happened.
He got involved in like a big standoff with the cops and shit. And then once he was out, he was around for about a year, and then he got in another one. He shot at the motherfuckers the second time. So he ain't getting out this time.
Hey man, good try.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
He's a cool guy though. See, again.
Yeah, it's a cool guy.
As long as you're not a cop, apparently.
Yeah, well, I mean, he never shot at me or anything.
You're not a cop. Wait, are you a cop?
No.
You got to tell me if you are.
But I can. There's some funny stories with that. I remember one time we had got switched around. You know, this was like one of our first shows as Demolition, and somehow we got switched around in the order. Whoever was supposed to play last couldn't or something, so they swapped with us. And so Gray, for some reason, after he watched us play, he thought we were like the headliners and like great. And I remember him bringing me back in his office and giving me all this money. It was like one of the biggest payoffs we ever fucking got.
Dude.
And it was just because I guess how I am, all Mr. Confident or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he was just like, well, I guess these guys are like a big deal.
You walk in the room like a rock star, people treat you like one.
Sometimes. Not always. Sometimes
You got to
they-
choose.
harder
You got,
locally.
you got to pick your moments, but yeah,
harder
sometimes it'll
locally.
pay off.
Sometimes they make fun of your pink beard and your leather pants.
And your dick hanging out.
It doesn't always go.
You kind of
your
look
way.
like Jim Morrison, they say. Inside jokes.
Yeah.
What was the weirdest show you ever played? Do you remember anything like the weirdest thing that ever happened to you at a show? Besides Rhiannon's, because like there was always strippers in and out, but
Right.
Always a
weirdest
good
thing?
story.
or most embarrassing thing maybe, or crazy story.
Going back to the click, they had the worst wiring in the world. I don't know what was wrong with this shit.
Oh,
But if you sang and played guitar, you get shocked like a motherfucker.
Didn't they have like in-floor hookups for certain things?
I have no idea what was wrong with it, but I remember this one night. And I can see the blue arc just coming, zap! and the way I'm singing already, I'm just like yelling and shit.
Yeah.
So it would hit me and I'd be like, yeah! Everybody just thinks it's part of the song, right? Yeah. And in between songs, also, I don't know if you remember, but I used to have my banter, if you don't like this next song, you can meet me in a fucking parking lot and all that shit. And so I'm yelling at the sound guy, dude, this shit's fucking shocking me. Yeah, and he wouldn't do anything. And so after the show, I go down to him and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? The shit just shocked me the whole time. He just starts dying laughing. It was like, I thought it was part of the show. I thought you were just like talking shit.
That's what you get.
That's brilliant.
Dude,
that's
I remember
brilliant.
playing there, and they had this circle of security fence, like about 10 feet away from the stage.
They called it the pit
Yeah,
or
so
some
if you wanted to mosh and like smack people in the face, you had to go in that little circle so that everybody else around could just have their peaceful time watching the show. The only problem that place literally had was the amount of space there was in that space.
It was huge. And so you could never fucking pack it.
You couldn't get people down to the stage enough to
Right.
make a difference because there were so many things and so many spaces and rooms to be in. But I like playing there, but because in theory, it could be super awesome if you packed the place out. But
Right.
you're talking like 2,000 people to fill the place out
Right.
or whatever.
It was like, what was the place that used to be next to Ziggy's?
Brouhaha.
Yes, that was the same fucking way. It was so big, and it was like
Yep.
they never got national, so it was always local shit, and it always looked like there's nobody there. Even
always-
if you got like a couple hundred people in there, it looked like there's nobody there.
It always felt awkward playing there because the stage was so high.
Right.
And like you said, like you weren't pulling in like the Ziggy's numbers to that place, and the stage was so high, it always just felt awkward. So, I played with some bands that did pack the place out, but it still felt informal.
Right.
Because who needs a 4.5 foot tall stage or
Right.
5 foot tall stage? I was trying to think of. Okay, so I actually don't know the going further future coming forward in your music career. The Soul Stalkers origins, and I don't think I've ever talked to you about like when that started and why and how and what happened.
I was wondering that myself.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was in Demolition, like we're talking about. It was a 3-piece. I sang and played guitar. And then I was in Bush Hog, which I just played guitar in Bush Hog, which was like a night off every night because I was used to being the front man, and now I just have to stand over there and be drunk and play guitar. And
which is the gig.
right, and we had our singer Stephen Hartley. He ran Hartley's House of Rock.
I was about to say that was that era of Bush Hog.
Right, and so that's where we got to. They had a lot of nationals out there, so we got to open for a lot of cool nationals, and that's like where we rehearsed. So that was just like a really fun time. But it only lasted for exactly 1 fucking year because they never paid rent to the place one time.
That's a smart business.
Yeah.
Man.
So after the year, they showed up and there was locks on the door, and so that was the end of that deal.
Dang.
I had somewhere in between all this shit, I went to GTCC for audio engineering, and I believe Floaty Marotech, I believe, was one of the first bands that I recorded.
Yeah, you were like, "Come over and record, man," and we were like, "Well, yeah, because we can't afford it anywhere else." And you were like, "I'll hook you up," and we're like, "Well, we love you, and
Let's do it.
We
We
need
were
some
friends
music
already. Yeah.
Yeah, and I use the same tactics, man. It's like, hey, I'm trying to do this. Come over here and do it so I can get experience, and you can have something to show for it. And
Right.
that was just the same way you were doing it, the same way Joe Potts was doing it in the early days too. Like,
Exactly.
I need experience doing this kind of music. You come in, and I'll give you a hookup, and then we'll both learn, trading stuff off.
Right. Exactly.
And I definitely spent a lot of time in that basement.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No
I was
doubt.
about to say, I don't know if you remember, but Deb on My Hands came and recorded a demo with you as well.
I do remember that, Broski. I do.
Yeah, it was good times.
Okay.
Do you
so-
keep your masters?
No. You know how many people ask me that shit? No.
Apparently, Jamie does.
Well, so I've gone through
he's
so
Jamie.
many hard drives over the years that a lot of that
Yeah.
shit is lost. But
It's a
including
lot
some
to
of
ask
my own shit.
for an early recording studio like that to still have those early masters. That's asking a bunch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
during that time, I mean, I was fucking young guy. I mean, I'm not thinking about 20 years later that everybody's going to be asking for
Nope.
masters or whatever.
Cooler than that, though. Let's talk about this. What other thing that happened in that basement? Me and the Beard's very first experience being on a podcast
Yeah.
was on QPC's Kick-Ass
That's right.
Podcast.
Did you,
Kick-Ass
guys never,
podcast.
did you guys never come and do WQFS when I was doing college radio?
The Moose.
Yeah,
Not-
with Moose and QPC's Monster Metal Show.
I did it. I think I went before it was Moose. I can't remember. I don't think I ever did. Did I?
I did the Flannel Zone. I remember doing that with Trip 6.
What do you call him? J-Dub? I was going to call him Pogo.
J-Dubs.
Right.
Yeah.
J-Dubs, I remember you coming and doing QFS. I definitely remember that. Because I remember you being like, after we were done, you were like, man, you're a funny guy. I was like, well, I mean, we had hung out a bunch before that.
Yeah.
I remember
you're a
one
funny
time.
guy.
I remember one time hitting
J-Dub strikes again.
J-Dubs. You remember when he used to live? I think you lived off of, what was it, Drum Road?
No, it was Canoe Road.
Canoe Road. And I
Canoe
remember
Road.
going in this little shed with your ass, and you had a gas mask hooked up to like
All right, we're
a
doing
fucking
this.
bong or some shit. And we're
breaking
just
news.
sitting in there in that fucking
Breaking
shed.
news, J-Dubs is a criminal.
Did you just say he made a bomb? Wait, hold on. Back up.
I fucking. It was.
We found a flaw in our plan.
It was some weird gas mask contraption that you could smoke weed through. And I remember just fucking walking out of this little shed after we fucking like smoked the thing out and just being like, oh my God, what the fuck just happened?
Are you trying to tell me that our beloved innocent J-Dubs participated in the smoking of marijuana?
J-Dubs, I'm going to need you to get with HR and prepare for a piss test.
I was there. I don't know what he does now. This is a long time ago, so I don't know.
No, he's probably clean now.
But well,
Hot
no, but
coffee.
so I know you want to get into the podcast, but going back to Soul Stalkers, though.
Yes, please.
Why I was saying that I started recording bands was because I started recording Dark Side, who ended up being my partner in Soul Stalkers, but he did a bunch of solo stuff first. And so once Demolition obviously had run its course, and Hartley didn't fucking pay the goddamn rent, and so Bush Hog ended up breaking up and all that shit. And I didn't have nothing to fucking do other than I was recording bands. And so I was like, I'm going to start let's do a group, with Dark Side. So that's what started Soul Stalkers.
I didn't really know Dark Side before. Was his earlier stuff before, was it also like in that horror rock? Okay,
yes.
Cool.
And he had been my best friend. He was like the first friend that I made in North Carolina. I'm originally from New York and Pennsylvania.
Right on.
So he was like my first friend in school. We just always were friends.
Where were you born, New York or Pennsylvania?
I was born in New York and then lived in Pennsylvania. I grew up with Bam Margera in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Yes, sir. My brother still lives there.
Nice.
Yep.
So let's talk about your podcast. How long you still doing your podcast? How long have you been doing it?
Holy shit. I don't fucking know, man. Long time. Probably between 10 and 15 years.
Have you numbered your episodes?
No, I don't. I just put the date on there. I don't have like the number of episodes, but I'm sure well in hundreds and hundreds for sure.
Yeah, definitely for sure. It's got to be.
Yeah.
I was actually every time I look at your episodes and I try to find an episode, I'm like, how many episodes has Thomas Lineback been on?
Oh, well, for a long time he was my co-host.
Like the co-host.
Yeah. So like you guys.
Right.
I mean, it would be us and then a guest or multiple guests or whatever.
Yeah.
How about you guys? How long have you been doing this?
I believe this is episode 34, but that's we had another handful of episodes before we did a little rebrand. So
yeah, we have been podcasting for just over a year.
Yeah.
About 13, 14 months. This show has been going on for 8.
With that
Something
being
like
said,
Yeah.
Please like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, like, share, and subscribe. Check out this graphic right here. Look at it. Don't click directly on the screen. It's down below somewhere.
But I like how you guys do the video podcast. See, that's the thing. I mean, I don't know. I was me and Beard over there were having a conversation before the podcast, and
Collusion.
Yeah,
I was telling him how doing so many podcasts for so long, and you get used to scheduling mishaps and this and that, but going from doing the college radio and then doing the podcast, I've been doing it so long. Like when I first started doing a podcast, people would be like, are you still doing a radio? And for a short time, I was doing both at the same time. But once I switched over to just the podcast, I was like, nah, I'm not doing the radio anymore. I'm doing a podcast. And they'd be like, what in the fuck is a podcast?
What is a podcast?
Right? And now everybody's got a podcast. Everybody knows what a podcast is.
If we've got one, everyone's got one.
Yep.
But see, that's been a interesting transition as well, because at first a podcast just meant audio. And then I guess it was kind of like Joe Rogan kind of switched all that. It could be a video, and I like how you guys do a video. And I've had so many people, tell me that I should do a video, but I'm like, dude, that's enough of a pain in the ass to do what I do.
Podcasting is hard, dude.
Yeah,
that's what it's like an ongoing theme for us. Podcasting is hard.
If you decide you want to go that route, we would love to help you do it.
Yeah,
definitely.
Okay.
Because we've got it now for the most part. I'd say 85-90%.
Yeah,
it's all automatic. The hard part is just getting it there, setting it up so all you can walk in is hit record.
Right.
So I don't know how you do yours. How do you run your stuff through a DAW as you're recording, or you do like one audio input?
No, I have Pro Tools. Right? Yeah.
So that's half the battle, and then the cameras is run basically the same way. He gets to decide which camera's on the screen at any given time.
Yeah.
Right.
With a little button.
Yeah, we got a couple little buttons set up for him back there.
Right. No, see, and I love that idea that you have a producer and everything. I mean, that's super
cool. We used to love that idea.
Come on. I was saying, where's the boom or some shit?
J-Dubs has been an amazing asset to our show, and like having him here has allowed us to start developing a look and a style, and sometimes it's a little too much, sometimes it's not enough, but we're still working on the quantities, and he's been doing a kick-ass job today. I just wanted to point that out. It's been fantastic, except the one thing he hasn't done is just chimed in and take over the conversation. Like, this gentleman also.
What I think he's actually doing is trying to pay attention so that he can pick his moment.
He's waiting for a news.
I
break.
think that he's trying to find the right moment to use his new toy. I think that's what it is.
All right. Well, I got a segue.
Oh,
So,
shit.
you're the band you were in when I met you.
Yes,
It was
Demolition.
named Demolition.
Uh-huh.
Your album was named Crimson Mask,
Yes.
which are both, I believe, wrestling references.
Yes, sir. That's the other thing with me and Floaty. Always
Yeah.
big time
Always.
wrestling buddies.
Yes, sir.
Right?
And we've had a local wrestler.
Wrestling, is that what you kids are calling it these days?
Wrestling. Wrestling.
We don't talk about what the kids are calling it these days.
Yeah.
Kinda
Do we
gross.
look like
It's kind
fucking
of gross
kids
when
to
we
you?
do. And you showed up here today wearing a Lucha Brothers
Yes.
shirt, and I love Lucha Brothers, and I hope they get together in the new company.
Because they're both, well, one's on Raw and one's on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I figured since Penta went first and had that amount of time, and he got over as singles, they're gonna run that as long as they can.
Right.
They'll get them back together when they need to get some money. But your band Demolition albums.
Hot
Crimson
damn,
Mask.
let's do it.
Nice.
Hot damn, let's do it. Is there an echo in here?
Is there an echo?
Hot
in
damn,
here?
let's do it.
Sorry.
Other than the name of your band and your album, what other ways were you incorporating your love of wrestling into your art, and are you still incorporating it today in like your podcast and whatnot?
Sure. I have wrestling conversations all the time. Currently, we've been talking about Dark Side of the Ring. I don't know if you...
Are they airing new episodes right now?
Yes.
Oh,
New
see,
season just came out.
I haven't seen the new episodes yet.
But I got a funny story for that. So in Demolition, so we played our intro song was always the theme song for the wrestling tag team Demolition. I don't know if you remember that.
I definitely remember Demolition. He doesn't know what the hell we're talking about, but that's all right.
Right, but I mean, we used to play the song though, the dun 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 dun, 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 here comes the axe, here comes the smasher, yeah. But so okay, besides that, here's a great story. So I had this thing that I was gonna make it almost like the Marilyn Manson shit, right? Where you're gonna have your first name was gonna be a wrestler, and your last name was gonna be like a musician that plays the instrument you play. So I was gonna be Hulk Hetfield, and my drummer was gonna be Vinny Savage for Vinnie Paul and Macho Man Randy Savage, and our bass player Paul. I don't know if you remember Paul, but he was gonna be Burton the Barber Beefcake. and he hated that. We couldn't figure out why he didn't want to do it. Right? I mean, it sounds like
That
a
is
good name to
genius.
me. He was like, fuck that. I ain't doing that shit. We were like, what's wrong, man? You're a barber. Come on.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, so, but that didn't
That's really
work.
funny because Beard used to go by the name Macho Man Randy Blythe.
Really?
No, not at all.
Would have been a lot cooler if you did. Though.
Yeah. Damn, dude, he got me. He got me. Oh man,
McConaughey,
that was so well played, man. So well played.
So, you watching current product?
Yeah, I keep up. I mean, I'm more into. He's talking about professional wrestling. I'm more into all the behind the scenes. I got really into like all the shoot interviews and all that stuff.
See, I loved BTS for a while, and now it doesn't exist anymore.
BTS. Oh yeah.
Or BTE.
Yeah, yeah.
BTE.
It doesn't
Big
exist
Elite.
anymore. That was funny.
It's just gone now. They don't even have it anymore.
Yeah, it's
just-
gone.
I liked it because it was kind of like our show sometimes, where it's just dumb
It's
skits,
just goofy shit. Yeah.
just making stuff up as you go.
Yeah. I would say that it kind of got old after a while. I mean, it definitely was great.
I'm
at
sure it did,
first,
but I didn't get into it until 2018 or 2017 or whatever. So I missed like 6 or 7 years of it. So,
Gotcha.
and I wasn't gonna go back and watch it from the beginning. So.
Gotcha. But yeah, I keep up with current product. We got WrestleMania is next weekend.
It is next weekend.
Yep.
I was talking about having Eric sit over here and watch WrestleMania with me and do a reaction because he's not a wrestling fan, and I wanted to wait to something that was like over the top spectacular. But
Right.
that would require 2 days of sitting
know.
over here watching wrestling for like 6 to 8 hours a day.
Yo,
I don't want to do that.
it's grown so much. It's like all week now.
So we're gonna do
broski.
Money in the Bank or something.
Oh yeah, do something else. Do the next pay-per-view.
Well, probably I wouldn't mind having him do
I could use some money in the bank.
Double or Nothing is probably what I'll have him watch.
do some A dubs.
I don't want to gamble though. I just want money in the bank.
We can bet on the
Damn, let's
matches.
do it.
Double or nothing.
We'll have a poker night during a pay-per-view. With the pay-per-view on.
Hey, that's a
cameras
good
on.
idea.
Play poker and
That's a
react to it.
fantastic idea, dude.
Do we know how to blur? Because we know we're going to be filming.
Like.
We'll have to blur. We'll have to blur the TVs if we're
someone got
filming.
That was good.
Just
Not
don't-
wrong.
You just move the cameras move the cameras, Dubs. Move the cameras.
You don't have to do
Oh.
both days for WrestleMania and all 7 hours or whatever. You could just watch like the last 2 hours. Just
You know-
watch like the main
You
event.
know what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till Monday,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to watch Up and Downs with Simon Miller.
What's that?
It's a show on What Culture where he goes over pay-per-views and
Sports
Oh, okay.
Sports Center for
He
I know
gives
what
things
culture.
up and down.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh,
I got you.
Ups
Sports
and
Center
Downs
for
is the bomb.
pro wrestling.
Ever see a sign that says Simon, give me an up or whatever in a crowd? That's what it
Oh,
means. It's
that's what
talking
I'm talking
ups
about.
and
I
downs.
got you. I got you.
So it looks like it's time for us to send it off to
Yeah.
an advertisement.
Yeah. So like, share, and subscribe, and check out this thing we're not trying to sell
Hey,
you.
here's something you don't want.
Is your sex on fire? Then you need to try Cool.
To see if Cool is right for you, contact your medical provider. Side effects may include hallucinations, nausea, loss of muscle control, bursting skin blisters, explosive diarrhea, crawling out of skin, anal tenderness, and impulsive behaviors.
Cool.
And we're back.
Yeah, that's not a real product. Please don't Google that.
I was gonna.
Please,
I'm interested.
Please do not Google
I'm
that.
super interested.
Well, we have some
careful.
samples.
Be
We have some
careful.
sample products we're going to give you.
I didn't know
Okay.
what that was.
Sample products. That's hilarious.
I'm looking forward to the samples. I'll give a detailed review.
Dude,
That'll be hilarious. I can't wait to
It's
show 'em what
fucking
we've got.
awesome.
so now we got to wonder in post which commercial we're going to throw in there because that's
Yeah.
going to make a huge difference.
We'll have to
on
make a
that
note.
reaction.
We'll have to make a note on the audio file for
that's
sure.
I mean, hopefully it's boner pills. That's what I'm hoping.
Close.
It is close. It's very. We have an option that is very close to that.
All right, All right, QPC.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now I know what it stands for, and I don't know if Floaty will be in the same boat as me or not. But where did QPC come from?
What do you think it stands for?
Quarter Pound Chris.
I thought you were going with the quarter pounder with cheese.
It stands for the quarter pounder with cheese.
No, so yeah.
Royale with cheese.
So
I just wanted to make sure that I looked at you in your face and didn't say Clint because it was a joke and I didn't mean it.
quarter pound Clint, but I don't know who Clint is.
Yeah,
My
that's
name
that's
is
what
Chris.
I'm saying. That's who is this guy?
It's Ron Howard's brother.
Yeah, that's true. His
Clint Howard.
his super handsome brother.
He's so good looking.
So QPC, quarter pound Chris, was invented when I was like in high school. So do you guys remember the game NBA Jams?
Hell
Yeah.
yes.
So I had a group of
taking it back.
friends, you know, like the you'd have the 4 controllers with the what was that? It was the Nintendo, right?
Yeah,
Super
64.
Nintendo.
No, it wasn't Super Nintendo.
It was 64.
Yeah, it was the N64 or whatever.
NBA Jam was definitely on Super Nintendo. wasn't it?
Well, but with the 4 controllers.
4
So
controllers.
we would all sit around and
Dead
play
giveaway,
this shit.
Floaty. Come
Yeah.
on now, try
I
and
had
keep
the
up.
controller split. I'm sorry.
And so when you put in your name, you only got 3 letters.
Right.
So that's where QPC came from.
Oh,
And the whole
That's funny because I always just put ass.
ass.
So who was the first person to call you quarter pound Chris?
Thank you,
Well,
Jado.
that's where it came from, and the idea was that if Dime Bag Daryl had a dime bag, then I got a quarter pound.
Damn.
Oh, that's a bold
Shots
statement.
fired.
That's a bold
Well,
statement.
so that was the whole idea. But so for so long, nobody would call me the shit, right? I mean,
Stop calling me Chris.
right, exactly. And it wasn't until, I mean, like when you first knew me, Floaty, you never called me QPC. You called me Chris, like forever.
Right.
And so it wasn't until really when I started doing the college radio that everybody then I'd walk up to the tavern, I'd walk up to Shiners or whatever, and everybody'd yell, "Oh, QPC," because I had the whole.
Oh, see, I
QPC thing.
thought you were just using it as a stage name. I didn't know that you were trying to. It was your whole personality, which is totally. That's how Floaty happened. Same way. Like this is my name now because someone said it, and now it's my whole damn personality. And,
Right.
But there's a big difference between like Floaty on stage and what I used to say was James off stage. But I guess it really is just two different moods of floaty.
I really did miss the opportunity for the quarter pounder with cheese, didn't I?
You did. I tried to set you up. I don't know what
Fucked
happened.
it.
Damn, use my own words against me, dude.
No, but
Bummer.
Floaty's got a good point, and I feel like for me the line has blurred so much over the years that there is not really a big difference between QPC and Chris. But I've had girlfriends and shit that are like, I love Chris, but I fucking hate QPC. Like, fuck that motherfucker. I mean, I'll be like, what do you mean? I'm the same fucking person.
I never had any girl that said that they hated floaty.
Really?
But I definitely had two that said that were just like, you love your guitar more than me. I'm like, well, yeah, this guitar's been with me for 12 years at that point. Like, you've been here for 4 months.
Yeah, right.
Of course I love my guitar more than you.
Exactly.
I had an ex-girlfriend that thought Floaty and I.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Like, we just hung out all the time. That was just how we lived life at that point in our lives. We were in the band together, we were touring together, and when we weren't doing any of that, we were broing down together. So like,
yeah, I was gonna say
like,
that we used to really enhance our bromance around people. Like it was real strong with us, but it's not a used to. We still kind of do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, she definitely thought that we were fooling around behind her back, and she didn't even want to listen to.
Wait, you guys aren't?
Yeah. I'm like so confused right now. I don't understand.
Oh, dude. I got to give you that one, J-Dubs. I got to give it to you. That was a good one. That was a good one.
We were innocent of doing it behind her back.
Yes. And just that one time. But I also kind of want to just point out what just happened. There was the latest innovation happened to the Ready Set Radio show just now, and
lighting
you were the
effects.
first ones to witness it. Lighting effects, yes.
Nice.
It's exciting. It's exciting. New. Yeah.
Here's a sad way to look at it. We've been capable of doing that for like
The
8
whole
months.
time.
And we just realized we could do that today.
And the idea just popped into our head today. So look forward to more of that happening. And
next thing you know, it's gonna be lasers and a hazer and a bubble maker.
hopefully it didn't give you a seizure.
Fucking dragons and shit. It's gonna be awesome.
Dragon, yeah, dude.
All right, so QPC came from you had to have 3 letters on NBA Jam, and we all can relate to that. I never loved mine. It's 3 letters is not enough for floaty in any way, really.
Yeah.
And then I don't like my initials, so like I would just do JJJ.
If I really had to do my name, it was just ERC.
Yeah.
It worked. But
Mine's Jaw. J-A-W.
Jaw.
Now it's DWZ or DBZ Dubs. I don't know.
DBZ.
Dragon Ball Z.
You could have done the old school pogo, just a PGO.
Yeah.
Go.
Pogue. Good old Pogue.
But dude, NBA Jam is one of my all-time favorite games.
No, we try to keep that. I don't associate with that guy anymore.
If I could afford arcade machines, it's one of the few that I'd want to have.
Why not pogo? Did your ex-girlfriend tell you that she loved J-Dubs but hated pogo?
No, we
To
told
be
him
quite
that.
honest, if it would
damn, Floaty spitting facts.
That's not true because it took me forever to stop calling him Pogo.
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
There were valid reasons to stop calling him Pogo, and I agreed to them, so we had to come up with a new name.
Yeah.
And
J-Dubs works.
he didn't like Dingleberry.
What were the valid reasons?
Ask him.
Ask him.
I'm asking him.
It's his story, and he hasn't talked this whole episode. Tell him the story.
I don't know. Everyone said that. I don't. Well, Pogo was a different time in my life.
Right.
Now with me having teenagers that are so close to 18, and me raising them
Close to being pogos on their own.
my son's already proven that. Big Stacks, shout out.
Inside jokes. Again, our audience is like, what does he mean?
Big Stacks, shout out. That's amazing, dude. That's effing amazing.
But with that being said, so I guess my three letters would be DAD, and that's.
Aww.
I understand.
guys.
I understand what you're saying.
I don't have nothing funny to say. to that.
I'm not fucking calling you that.
My brain told me I had something witty to respond to that, but there was nothing. Nothing.
So moving right along.
So QPC, we
Yes.
talked about our past and knowing each other and everything you've
Yeah.
done in the past. What are you doing?
What are you doing now?
I am currently a software developer. I've been doing it for about 6 years. I started out, I went to Coder Foundry in Kernersville, which was a shit ton of money. And they told you they were going to teach you everything you would need to know. And when I completed, they also told you they'd get you a fucking job, which is like a scam. But
Sons of bitches.
yeah, so I learned a lot. And then once I tried to get a job after that, nobody would give me a fucking job.
You need 3 years of experience.
Yes, so I kept like grinding and would do anything that I fucking could that had to do with coding, and I found a free boot camp, which was like a reality show. It's like they're gonna hire 2 people out of this fucking thing, and they already knew that I had a little bit of experience, so I was kind of like a ringer in the thing, and I didn't get chosen as one of the main 2 people, but later on, they hired me and my buddy Dave on, which we were in the boot camp together, as just like part-time shit. And during that time, I also taught a couple boot camps. And so once I had a little bit of experience and, you know, they knew that I was teaching people how to code, then they're like, all right, this guy's got to know what the fuck he's doing by this point. So I got this really kick-ass fucking job working for a radiology group here in Winston-Salem.
Sweet.
And, yeah, it's
Nice.
I love what I fucking do. I mean, coding is super fun. I try to get all my friends into it. I mean, I never even really cared about the money, but the money eventually came, you know. It was kind of like a game to me. It was like I felt like I had already put in all this time. I'd invested all this money that, like, I gotta make this a fucking success somehow, some way. And eventually I got there.
You gotta light those fires under your own butt sometimes, right?
Yeah, you got to. I mean, but I've always been like that. I mean, as we're talking about how I've, you know, been in the different bands. I did recorded bands with the audio engineering.
You recorded some of my stuff.
Yup, I did the radio, the podcast. I did the video interviews with Gary Grissom we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, like
Oh, yeah.
on location. Yeah, tell me about that. Like,
That was a lot of fun.
whose idea was that?
It was just, I guess, one of those things, just right time, right place, that Gary had the equipment and he wanted to do something like that, but didn't necessarily have the personality for it.
You definitely have the personality. For
Yeah.
it.
Well, but this has been a thing over the years. Like, do you remember? I can't remember the guy's name. There was another guy that used to
Call
pitch.
him Bob.
Bob. He used to pitch all the time. He wanted me and Christy Johnson to do that type of thing.
Shout out Christy Johnson.
Yeah, big shout out to Christy Johnson. But like that we would have some type of interview show and me and her would be, you know, the hosts or whatever. So that's
That
kind
could
of
be cool.
I don't know. I mean, everybody always had that idea, and I guess just from already doing the radio, you know, to do it on video was the idea.
That's kind of what we're doing here. That's
Right.
we're calling our friends from the music scene and be like, hey, come sit down and talk to us for like an hour, hour and a half, and let's make a podcast
Yeah.
together.
Anybody we think might have a good story or
Right.
something worth contributing. And
Right. And so also I don't know if you remember the magazine. It was called the Arrival magazine. I was the
I do not remember
music
that.
yeah, I don't remember a
Okay.
magazine.
Neither of you guys remember that. I wasn't.
We're losers, dude.
I was just the music editor. It was this guy, Jason Anders, that was the owner, the CEO. But yeah, that didn't last that long. But whatever, it's another notch in my belt. So basically, I'm just saying I've always been trying to anything and everything. Like, you know, I'm there. I'm gonna try
think
to
about
fucking
it.
do
Like, think about it. If you had the technology that we have now, back when you had the Strive and had the time, and
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
Things would have been a lot different. That's for sure.
Potentially, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the technology that we have just in this room to do this podcast is more than I thought we had. I mean, think about a decade ago, we couldn't have done what we do in here. No.
Right. And just like the idea of like influencers or whatever. I mean, like I totally would have been one of them fucking kids that's just like on whatever TikTok
Yeah, if
all
you'd
day
have
or
caught
whatever.
the wave, but there's still plenty of waves to catch, dude. There's still plenty of them.
I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I mean, that's
I'm just saying that what you're doing could become cool. It could be.
It already is fucking cool.
It is.
How dare you? How dare you even suggest?
You son of a bitch! No shots fired for that, son of a bitch. Dubs, you only get 3 beers this week.
Ooh, that was close too.
So
Yeah, that could have been a good one. That could have been a good one.
before we get to the end of our show today, I want to talk a little bit more about the creation of podcasts, because we started out not knowing nothing about nothing. I'm sure you kind of were in the same boat, even
Sure.
more so, right?
Oh, yeah. 'Cause-
It wasn't as popular podcasting at the time.
Right.
But we have this kind of ongoing joke, which is laced 100% in truth of our life, that podcasting is hard.
It's difficult.
It's especially like what we're doing. Maybe the guest cancels, maybe the cameras don't work today, and we have to reboot them all and upgrade them all, and like, oh, the guest is here, but we're still
and
updating.
we have the same problems with the audio. And
Yeah.
now the guest is here. Yeah, like you said, it's
Technical problems, logistic problems.
Yeah.
Or, I mean,
Scheduling problems.
Yes.
it's all part and parcel. Like it all comes with it. That's the name of the game, man.
It is.
Yeah.
It's love.
It's always
the
been
behind
that
the
way.
scenes that a lot of people don't know about. You know, they
Yeah.
think like, oh, it's just easy. You just talk. Like, okay, what are we going to talk about? You know,
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
I can boil down what we do to make this podcast to: we click 2 buttons and we sit down and talk. J-Dubs controls what camera is being shown and the sound effects, but it is so much more than that.
So much more.
But that is the basics. That's what we do in here. But inevitably, every week, there's always something. Like, hey, man, like today it was, how do we get 2 different videos to play on 2 different screens, even though that screen's not even on camera? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's TV over there is just for J-Dubs to feel immersed in our world.
That and impressing our guests.
Yeah.
which has
Tell us
worked.
you're impressed, QPC.
Yeah, it has worked. It has worked on me. I'm highly impressed.
So we got this new
Without a doubt.
graphic up here that points to us as if I didn't introduce us.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm
Wonder who made that.
That's the beard. Yeah, we paid that guy.
I like it.
We paid
Yeah.
that guy 5 beers a week.
Yeah.
All right, so
But yeah, well, so what was the first podcast? I mean, Colt Cabana's podcast was the first podcast I ever listened to that made me want to do a podcast, which made me even understand what a fucking podcast is. And Colt Cabana's a professional wrestler.
I'm gonna say it right here.
Thank you for
I know
that.
he's like, who?
I'm like, yeah, no,
Since you brought up the topic, I wasn't gonna say it to your face, but the first time I heard about podcasting was QPC's Kick-Ass Podcast.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, I have to admit, me too.
I wasn't hip on the note, because back then podcasts were on like specific podcast websites.
Right.
Sometimes only on the person doing the podcast website.
Right.
So I wasn't really into them until you were like, "Come be on the podcast," and we were like, "What's a podcast?"
Yeah, sure, cool, man.
Let's do it. And we just came over to your house and did it. And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So I started looking things up, and I think the first one I actually got into was probably Smodcast, Kevin Smith,
Oh, yeah.
and his producer. I just forgot his name. That's bad of me. They had a podcast talking about all things Kevin Smith movies and
Right.
and comic books and pop culture, and I listened to that as often as I could. Just like everyone else in the entire planet, I got into Joe Rogan when it came out.
Right.
Talk is Jericho, Chris Jericho's podcast. I love.
Me too.
I don't listen to every episode of his. I read who's on. And I
Right.
decide. Same with Rogan. Like if I don't know the person, I don't listen to any of the MMA stuff because I don't follow MMA.
Yeah, there were a few like I didn't listen to Rogan for Rogan. I listened to Rogan for a few specific guests that he had on, and outside of those guests, I was like, I don't want to listen to him talk about polar bears anymore. Like, it's enough now,
For
dude.
me, Rogan has totally jumped the shark. Like,
Yeah.
I think it was around COVID when he was like the big, you
Yeah.
know, COVID denier. And
Right when he got on-
Yeah,
anti-vaxxer and all
ivermectin
that
and
shit.
like,
That
yeah,
was
you
right
gotta.
I was like, fuck this guy.
That was
Like,
right after he got on Spotify too. Like he
Yeah.
just got
Right.
that big deal
Right.
and made him, contract with Spotify.
That's when I started calling him Bro Rogan.
Rogan.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, my
Joe
bro
Rogan.
friends are fucking idiots, but we just say shit and
Yeah.
try to be smart.
Joe Rogan has gotten into the habit, in my opinion, of always siding with his guests, and that didn't
Right.
used to be the case
Right.
back in the day.
Well, and he used to be a lot more like open-minded and just kind of like, like, I don't know one way or the other, but we're just talking about these things. But like nowadays, he's got all these opinions and shit, and it's like, dude, nobody cares what the fuck you think. That was the whole charm of the show.
That's the exact reason why I pick and choose his episodes, because it's got to be a guest that I'm like, I love this person. Let's see what they're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, like Graham Hancock. All those episodes are my jam.
But
Love those
I'll
episodes.
give the Joe Rogan Experience props, man.
And Randall Carlson too.
The Joe Rogan Experience podcast is amazing. It sounds great and whatever. And it's probably one of the few podcasts that I have listened to certain episodes multiple times.
Yeah.
Right. Neil deGrasse Tyson's,
those are
Kevin
great.
Smith.
Yeah, those are great.
Episodes I've heard a couple times. And then Talking Jericho the same way, but that's mostly because he puts out a lot of episodes I don't listen to.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I'm a big fan of his podcast as well. And one of the other really early ones, which is another wrestler, was Conan. He was like back during Colt Cabana, like the days of what's a podcast.
I couldn't tell you how to find a podcast back then.
Right.
Yeah. And even after we did yours, I didn't get into listening to them for still years after that. And there was some Joe Rogan that I listened to, but when I got into him was when I started listening to Cover Band Confidential and Confused Breakfast. Have I ever told you about Confused Breakfast?
No.
I don't know what either.
But
one
also
of those
breakdowns for breakfast. Shout out, fellas.
Oh yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah. That came. They came later. I found out about them later. But Cover Band Confidential is a podcast. One of the guys is out of Greensboro. His name's Adam Ray. Adam Ray. Yeah.
Sounds right. I don't know him personally.
I hope I'm not messing that up. Anyway, but they do, it's all cover band based. Like, should your cover band be doing these gigs, or what's the best gear for that? And,
Should you use backup
and
tracks?
a lot of business and behind the scenes talk that they do. Like, I can't think of any examples, but one that I listened to recently was about band leader burnout, and I was like, oh my god. So I'm not the only. I'm burnt out. That's what it was, and I was like, "Oh yeah, good. I'm not the only one. This is good to know."
It happens,
in
everything that you do. Like, even in this podcast, there's going to be burnout. Like,
yeah. But what I like,
I'm burnt out right fucking now.
I'm so burnt out, brother.
And then the other one was Confused Breakfast, which is a podcast that is just about movies. And all movies, popular movies, like funny little things that you notice about this very popular movie that like it's a plot hole or a break in continuity that you notice because that glass wasn't sitting there a second ago, and that's actually one of the hosts of that one is the guy Mike, who's a member of he's the drummer for Pork Tornadoes. And I stumbled across that before I even found out about that band, and I thought that was funny.
That's one of my favorite band names.
Great band name.
Yeah, it's a great band name.
But yeah, so
but it's also a terrible name. Like,
of course.
But
it's so nichey, right? I mean, there's something for every interest.
They're a band from Iowa, I think, something like that.
Somewhere.
Yeah, but they make it work for them, man. It's like they have a whole brand deal. Their instruments are pink and they're killer, dude. They went viral for some cover of Tennessee Whiskey that they did because their singer can hit 1 million notes within a second or some shit. It's nuts. But yeah, and then I stumbled across a few other things like Cover Band Central, Cover Band Confidential, and I had found Confused Breakfast before that, but it's just straight up about movies. Like they talk about super popular movies and all the cool stuff that goes into making them and watching them. And
what did we talk about when y'all were on my podcast? I don't. Honestly, I don't even remember.
I know we talked about wrestling. We talked about the band we were in at the time. We talked about recording, I think.
Yep, all of that.
Okay, cool.
That's the best I could remember, man.
No ghost aliens and Bigfoot.
We probably did talk about aliens.
We probably did.
Yeah, I think we did talk about aliens.
Yeah. Because, we were, it's, that's how we roll.
Right.
Love it.
Oh, so I'm just dropping stuff all day long. So you got the podcast still going. You have any ideas for some new things you're trying to do? You got the coding thing going on in your life, the podcast. What else do you have? And what else are you trying to get into? Maybe something new? Anything?
Nah. I was thinking about me and Gary Grissom, who used to do, he runs Grism Productions.
A lot of video stuff.
A lot of video
Yeah,
stuff.
a lot of photography. Yeah, I remember Gary.
So we used to do a lot of videos together, but I was thinking about doing a QPC documentary and having all my idiot friends like you guys tell stories about.
Hey, we're his idiot friends.
Shit like that.
You're sweet. You stop it.
You know, but like.
Floaty and the Beard and the Dubs are QPC's idiot friends.
No, not Dubs.
Not Dubs.
Just
Not
you
Dubs.
guys.
Floaty and the
Just-
Beard are QPC's friends. Back
Now,
Only
now I
only
knew.
him.
Now I realize that it's an exclusive club, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
yeah. Well,
But anyway, once I thought about it, and I was like, I talked to Gary. We had everything planned out, and I was like, I'm gonna pay him all this money to make a documentary about myself. Like, what an asshole! Who does that? I mean, I know I'm obnoxious and everything, but
dude, to
like,
be fair, almost every single artist out there that's ever had a name for themselves have done their own documentaries.
really,
For sure, man. Like Smashing Pumpkins, Blink-182, Taylor Swift. They're all producing their own documentaries. They find a company. This is my vision. I have all these stories and all these things I want to talk about. I'm handing it to you. You decide how we film it, how we shoot it. You know,
We could be that company for you.
yeah, you want to do that?
yeah. Well, so I don't want to be in it at all. I just want it to be people talking about.
So
me
all you
or
gotta do is give us names and contact informations for all your dumb friends, and then we'll figure it out. And any old
got a lot of
footage
dumb
you have,
friends.
any footage you have of you doing old stuff and new stuff, we'll make something happen.
All right,
I didn't say
I'm
it.
interested.
We're giving no guarantee of it being good, but we can make it happen.
Yeah.
We could definitely make it
Okay.
happen.
All right.
Man, there was something else I wanted to talk about. What the hell was I talking about before?
I don't know. But if think about that, figure it out while I tell the circumstance for the episode, and then we'll talk about. Hopefully, and by the time I get done saying it, you'll have the answer. But so the circumstance is you're graduating high school. It's a big high school. Hundreds of people graduating with you. It's in a coliseum. Hundreds and hundreds of family members. Lots of cheering going on. Big room, very loud.
Like a coliseum.
Yeah, like a coliseum, maybe.
All right.
And you're
Do you hear this guy? Did you graduate? What the fuck are you talking about? Was it at a coliseum?
Mine was in a stadium.
Really?
Yeah,
A stadium?
it was like half a stadium. Yeah,
so
Get
the
outta here.
weather must have been nice for yours. We had to do mine indoors.
I don't remember.
Anyway,
He's lying.
It was.
he's lying. He didn't graduate.
It was like 84 years ago.
Anyway,
Motherfucker didn't graduate.
so you're graduating. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in the crowd, okay? You're walking across the stage. You go to shake the hand. You grab the diploma. You turn around to smile, look at the crowd, and you realize you're naked. What's the song playing?
Help! I need somebody help.
Really?
That was the first thing that popped in my head.
Okay, fair enough. J
I
Nuts?
got something to say. I'll your mother today.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That's what I would go with.
Wow.
Probably.
Okay.
Some good old Misfits.
I was gonna go with Weezer's Sweater.
Oh my God.
That's a little on the nose, isn't it? If you want to undo my sweater.
Another one that popped in my head that has nothing to do with it, and I don't know why it popped in my head when we thought of this circumstance, was "Smack My Bitch Up" by Prodigy.
Oh, dang.
And I don't even know why.
That's like a
Let's start.
But,
Yeah.
But the thought of me standing there naked.
but that
with-
song is such a dance vibe. Like I see it. I see it.
But when I put
I
the
think it could
thought,
work.
I put a little thought into this one, and I came up with two. One is a Pink song called "Get the Party Started," where it's like "I'm coming out."
Yeah.
And the other one I thought of, which made me laugh even more, is "Sounds of Silence" by Simon and Garfunkel. Hello, darkness, my old
Oh,
friend.
no, that
That's
would
a good
work.
one.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would
That's a
work.
good one.
Yeah, that's
That's a good one.
Anybody else got any more?
I only have one, and I put a little bit of thought into this one today too, and it's "School's Out" by Alice Cooper.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was perfect.
I love it.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you think about what you were trying to think about?
no, but I have something that a current event that I want to talk about before we end the show.
Okay.
I assume from what I know of QPC that he'd be down to talk about this too. So I just found
I
out.
don't think so.
Well,
No.
screw it then. You
I
guys
wanna
have a
know
great
if he
night.
has any
We'll
more
see you guys at 7.
Y'all been great.
So at some point in June of this year, they are re-releasing This Is Spinal Tap into theaters. And they are doing that because September 12th of this year, Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues, comes out in September. So I wanted to talk about, does anybody else give a damn? I do.
I do. I talked about it on my podcast a couple weeks ago.
Right, man.
I'm big time excited.
I'm excited
for
too.
It. The trailer was a little bit shitty. It was kind of relying on past jokes. Like, you know, it starts off.
Yeah, but this goes up to 11.
Yeah, that's all. That's all you
full
see is like they plug in the jack into the fucking amp head, and he turns it up to 11, and then they're playing Stonehenge or whatever, and that's what you get for the trailer.
Yo, I have heard rumors. I did not know it was a real thing. This is
Dude,
the most exciting moment for me for like
literally,
the last couple of weeks.
We did our episode.
This is really happening?
We did our episode last Sunday. I had no idea it was even a thing. And then Sunday night, I found out that they were releasing Spinal Tap. This is Spinal Tap in theaters in June. And that article also said that there's a whole new Spinal Tap movie.
They're doing that to be like, oh, hey, we're making a second one.
And I flipped shit. I was like, oh my God, I love Spinal Tap.
Wait, you mean there's going to be a second one? You should have led with that.
I know.
I love Spinal Tap, but it can be like if somebody that's never seen it before and you're like, I'm telling you, this is the best fucking
It could
shit
totally be oversold.
It
could totally be oversold.
Like, once they start watching it, they're going to look at you like, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah, dude. Dude.
It's like showing somebody Monty Python.
Right.
Yeah.
Same thing.
The best way to
that's
sell
fair.
it, the best
That's
way
totally
to sell
fair.
it is like, hey, if you like to alter your brain
Tis
with
but a
alcohol
scratch.
or other things, you might dig this movie. Check it out.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
But so there's nothing else like it. Like,
Nothing
I mean,
else like
I was trying to, on my podcast, we were talking about how, you know, what we compare to it. And the closest I got was CB4, which would be in the hip hop world.
Oh, wow.
Oh, with like Chris Rock and stuff?
It's
That's
not
from the 80s.
The fake human.
90s. I mean, but it's not the
mockumentary.
same at all in any way because it's not like supposed to be a documentary or
It's
whatever.
a movie, yeah.
I mean, but it's like parodying that world, how Spinal Tap is parodying like the hair metal world or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that's specifically like Spinal Tap at all. I can't.
I think-
nothing.
And
Honestly,
I can't believe nobody tried to rip it off.
I think-
ever.
Well, that's what the QPC documentary is going to be, my
I
friend.
think
this is
I have one. I think Steel Panther comes close.
Yeah, okay.
I think
I'm
Steel
with you on
Panther
that.
comes close.
Sure
they just
enough.
haven't made a movie.
Yeah, just as
Great
a band.
point. Great
Yeah.
point.
Sorry, 1993. I'm sorry.
What was
What?
this? What?
I said from the 80s. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was like,
Yeah, CB40's from 1993.
yeah,
My
yeah,
bad.
for sure.
I missed you saying that part, and I was like, J-Dubs hasn't spoken in 20 minutes, and he's just like, I'm sorry, 1993. What?
And,
what does that even mean?
We'll see you next weekend.
The only other thing that I had to talk about was another movie thing that they're making a Young Guns 3.
No.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Some of us are Young Gun fans. They don't
Dude,
have. They
you
didn't have-
actually should have used the breaking news one there.
They didn't
dude.
have
Come
fucking
on.
cars back then.
Well, I don't know. Depending on when it's said, it might have been right at the beginning of them.
hit the horses button. Anyway, Young Gun 3's Emilio Estevez, I believe, is directing it, maybe even writing it. I know that Lou Diamond Phillips is signed on. It's
Nice.
definitely happening.
they got Kiefer Sutherland?
Yeah,
No, I don't know if they have him yet or not, but they don't announce everything anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Just like Marvel, they announce like
What if it's
79
Angus
people.
Sutherland?
What?
What if it's Angus Sutherland, his son?
Oh, I suppose that could happen.
I mean, I
Yeah.
guess they could use him in like flashbacks, but everybody else is going to be older.
Or what if
Exactly.
they use him as a completely different person?
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
I'm down.
They're like if they're gonna make a Young Guns 3 with these characters returning, they're gonna have to make them. They got to write in the age.
Yeah, for sure.
So like it's gonna, that's gonna be a part of it. It almost like we could almost write the movie right here.
Right
You know
now.
what I mean?
Yeah, the reason why I said that is because they did that with Lost Boys.
They've
Yeah,
done it with
Lost
everything.
Boys.
dude.
Everybody that got shot in the last movie, it was all a dream.
Yeah.
What did they do with Lost Boys? What are you
Yeah,
talking
Lost Boys, The Tribe. Angus Sutherland, the blonde head kid that plays one of the vampires, the head vampire, that's Kiefer Sutherland's son.
about? Okay. Have any of y'all been watching Daredevil?
Oh, I love that show,
I've
dude.
been meaning to check that out.
It has fucking Tony
Y'all
Soprano's
keep enjoying
son
this
in
conversation. I got to go to timeout.
it. You got
And we'll be right back.
Anyway, I don't know. What are we still? Yeah, we're still going. We're still
Go
going.
for it. Yeah.
Yep, Tony Soprano's son. He's fucking awesome in Daredevil. And he was
That's his son?
That's his son.
No doubt.
Which guy? It's do you watch it?
I haven't seen the new ones.
Oh, okay.
The newest ones, like because there's still it's the same guy that they've got playing
It's
Matt
not
Murdock from the Netflix ones.
Right. It's not the guy that plays Daredevil. That's not.
No,
Tony
not him.
Soprano's
I'm
son.
just saying it's the series with that guy in it.
Yes.
And I know it's the new ones.
Yes.
But I didn't know they had what's his name? James Gandolfini.
Yup, his son.
They've got his son in it as playing who?
He
doing what?
is the Kingpin's, like one of the Kingpin's right-hand man.
Oh,
guys.
cool.
Yeah.
And they've got the same guy playing Vincent D'Onofrio or whatever playing Kingpin still.
Yes.
That's dope.
And he's great.
Because I loved it in the Netflix series, dude. That was
I loved it, too.
It was man, that was a brutal series. That
got
dude would beat
Punisher.
some dudes down.
Got the same guy playing Punisher.
Love it.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
You gotta check it out.
Still on Netflix?
Yeah, they got it's about to end. They got the finale is like next week.
Oh,
So
nice.
8 episodes. Yep.
Nice. Very cool. I'm gonna check that out because I like that series a lot. Very cool. That's exciting.
Dude,
Did everything
the whole time,
come out okay?
the whole time I was in the timeout, I was like, it's Vincent D'Onofrio, it's Charlie Cox,
D'Onofrio, yeah.
it's John
Thank you.
Barenthal. I love that show.
I knew all of those names, to be fair.
I've only seen the first 2. They dropped 2 episodes on the first day.
Yes.
I saw them.
Which that first episode was awesome because it went just right
Yeah.
into some
Oh, dude, the
kick-ass
first
action.
episode is one of the best episodes
Yep.
of all the Daredevil shows.
No doubt.
And
So
then
yeah, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
7 days. You don't stop the rain. QPC, thank you for being on the episode. Audience, we will see you in
Appreciate
7
it, man.
days.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Everybody
Same.
check out QPC's Kick-Ass Podcast.
Podcast.
Whoa, yeah. Available
Bye-bye.
everywhere you enjoy podcasts. Get them.
Nice.